Alright, so this is the Megadeth My Last Words guitar lesson. And so the tabs are going to be on the screen. They're also in the description. You might be thinking, why am I wearing the Metallica Kill 'Em All shirt? And that's because it's in honor of Dave Mustaine's first album, which was Metallica's Kill 'Em All. So that's why I'm wearing that. Just a little shout out to Dave Mustaine for his amazing songwriting skills. And as we're going to see, he's a beast of a guitar player. And this song is way harder than I thought. But you know what? It's doable. And I think we're going to have a good time breaking it down and helping you go over any hurdles that you had with this one, because it's a tough song, but it's a lot of fun. It's worth the effort to give it a try. So here we go. So the first part, we have a clean tone guitar, and we're going to start here on the 5th position. First finger on the 5th fret, second finger on the 6th fret of the next string, third finger on the 7th fret of the next string. So we have them all in a line here. And we're going to do some pull-offs, right? So we have our first finger, and then we're going to pull off to the open E string, all right? And we want to do that without moving these two fingers. And so we're going to play the first finger and like pluck the string down, you know? And I would get this pattern down. So it's basically a down and then 2 upstrokes. All right, so we have down, up, up. So down, pull off, up, up. So it's almost like a sweep pick or an economy pick, whatever you want to call it. And then the melody here is going to go 5, pull off, and then after that, the next time around, our pinky on the 8th fret. So I would practice those two, holding these 2 fingers down like that, and see if you can kind of get those fingers to work independently of these two without moving them. All right, then you get your picking pattern down with it, down, up, 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 up. All right, so that's the pattern that you want to practice and get, especially that picking pattern, down, up, down, kind of really ingrained into your picking hand because it has to flow. This one has to flow. So after you do that, your 2nd and 3rd fingers stay where they are, and the 1st and 4th fingers are going to slide down a fret to the 4th fret and 7th fret. All right, so we're going to do our picking pattern on that one. All right, we are going to move position now, so let's just do this one more time. Now the next part, we're going to jump over to our first finger on the 3rd fret and do a pull off. Now I'm doing this without holding the chord yet, because in the flow of the song, I'm trying to just move over here and then put the chord down, which is the 6th fret on the B string and then the 5th fret on G with these 2 fingers. So, all right, and then once I have these down, I'm holding them down. My first finger is going to sneak back here and play the 5th fret. And then I'm here. All right, so the first time it's just here, then land these, and then here. So that transition looks like this. Next, we're going to take these 2 fingers, slide them to the 2nd and 3rd frets. All right, and then our first finger comes down on the E string, 1st fret, and now we have a D minor chord here. All right. All right, so we have our D minor chord. Then this spot's a little tricky. Then we have our first finger gonna play a pull off, and come over and land on the G instead of our middle finger. So, now once we're there, our first finger holds, we reach over here with our second finger to play that first fret pull off. And then lift our first to play an open note. All right, this is a little tricky, so we're gonna go here. I'm gonna review that again. So 1, pull off. Now the next time through, bring that over, hold that. We need to do another pull off on 1 with that second finger. And then lift the first finger. All right, so we can get an open note here. And then finally, 1, pull off, 3, open. All right? So that spot again looks like this. So the effect, the sound that you're looking for is this with this like falling bass line. All right, so you have then you're going to jump back up and do it all again. All right, I think it's 4 or 6 times. It's on the tab below. Now at the end of this section, as this intro is coming to a close, we're going to do a different variation of this where we're going to play same start. Then your first finger jumps down to 4. But these two are in the same spot. Then you have another one of these, the 3, open, 6, 5. So far. Then this little thing. Now you can let those ring, but it's so fast that 1, pull off, second finger on the 3rd fret of B, pinky on 5. All right, and then after you play that pinky, I think of like touching something hot, right? If you touch a hot stove, you just kind of jump off of it, because I need to get back here to the 5th fret in order to repeat that. Right, so this section slowly starts off the same as before, 5, 6, 7, 4, 6, 7. Then we have our 3, 5, 6, or 3, 6, 5, I'm sorry. And then this little pattern, 1, pull off, 3, 5. Again, still the same picking pattern though, down, up, up. All right, so. Right, so you want to think of something hot there. The last time through, you're going to play here. That's all the same. Then we have this little scale sequence with sort of a skipping pattern. Now the way that we're going to do this is your first finger on the E string, then 3 on B, open E, 1 on B. Now here we need to do a little finger roll. So our 3rd finger holds down the 3rd fret of B and G. And I kind of roll my finger, that way I'm not letting it ring if possible. All right, so I have then 1 on B, 2 on A, or I'm sorry, on G on an A note, 3, open G, open G, second finger, third on D, and that's where the pattern ends. We're going to do a scale, straight up scale at that point. So that's that whole skipping part. Then we have an open G, then third fret on D string, second fret, third fret on the A string, and then an open D. And that's the clean guitar intro. I would say one other thing, that this last part has to be strict alternate picking. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. No like directional or economy or anything like that. Just, you know, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's a little tricky to get, but the way, honestly, the way I learned this one was watching, binging Cobra Kai, and just, you know, doing that every couple minutes, and then, you know, doing this until I can get a flow, you know. So you just kind of like turn on a Netflix thing and just do this in the background until your fingers become, you know, used to it. Honestly, it's sort of like a muscle memory type thing, and it takes a little bit of time. All right, that's the clean intro part. Let's move on. All right, so we're just jumping into the next riff, the main riff, and then the verse. The lead stuff, like the intro lead and the solo, we're going to do that in another video. I'm just going off of what I recorded already on the cover video, which is also linked. Okay, so what we're going to do is some fourth dyads. Those are these 2-note chords that are kind of barred together on the middle 2 strings here, D and G. I'm using my third finger and then pulling off to the 5th fret. Now, one thing that I'll do sometimes is rest stroke my pick so that it lands on the B string, like that, and that like kind of helps avoid any extra noise with the pull off on other strings that I might not want. So like that, I might, you know, have the pick landed on the B string, and then I don't have to really worry about those other strings. Just a little trick if you're getting that extra note on the B and E strings, like pulling it off and making all this extra noise. Just try that. That might help. Anyway, so then we're going to pull our first finger off to open strings. Now, it could be just the D string or D and G. Whatever happens, happens. They were just going nuts. This is 1980s thrash metal. Yes, there are like, you know, precision riffs and precision solos and things, but I think this riff, Dave Mustaine is just going nuts, you know. So whatever happens, happens. Okay, and then you're gonna do that 5 open pull off again, and then an upstroke on A. I try to palm mute that if I can. Open A, and then we have a hammer on from 5 to 7. So all together. Then on the last time of that, we're just going to play that 5th fret dyad and then go up to some power chords. All right, so it stops a little short. You don't have to do that hammer on. You just start here or finish there, and then jump up here to the A string power chord 8 and 10. 3rd fret power chord 3 and 5. And then a 5th fret power chord 5 and 7 with an upstroke slightly ahead of the beat so that we can start the riff over again on a downstroke on that thing, right? So this part you're going to go down, down, up, down, like that. It's a little bit of a weird transition, Alright, the last time you do that, you're going to just hang out on that 5th fret. Then we have these like deadened notes on a down and then an up really fast to the next power chord. So for example, on the next one, 1st and 3rd fret, on the low E string, you have. So. All right, so the next one after this low 1 and 3 is 3 and 5 on the A string power chord. And then we have open A and D strings. And just in case I'm like dampening the low E string with my thumb here. And then the other strings with my first finger, just in case I hit them. You know, I want to be able to play this song with energy and not worry about it, you know, hitting open strings. Now, by the way, one thing I do is I play A string power chords with my 1st and pinky, and then E string power chords with my 1st and 3rd. It just helps me smoothly transition, that's all. It's something you could try. The last time through, we're going to play 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret, 1st fret, and then 1st fret on the low E string. All right, so that little bit. And then jumping back over here to the 5th and 7th fret. All right, so the whole verse part goes like this. And then you put a pick scrape there at the end before you go back to the riff. All right. One other thing is about those little deadened notes to get a lot of power there is I also am like, not just deadening with my left hand, I'm using my right hand palm mute, like not just a regular palm mute, but like all the way on the strings to hit the strings. And that way I can really get a tight sound. You're going to repeat that several times. That verse part. Remember to do that pick scrape at the end. That's kind of fun. The last time we do this, instead of going back to the riff, we're going to jump into the next section. So we have... It's a little melody here. We have the 5th fret. So after you do the... We're going to jump right into this melody here. And then we have a hammer-on from 5 to 8 and a pull-off. I'm sorry, 7 to 8 and a pull-off. Or you could re-pick the 7. And then 6. Honestly, there it's hard to hear the difference, so either way you want to do it. As long as it's rhythm, in the right rhythm. 6th fret, low E. Same thing here with 5 to 6. All right, pick, hammer, pick, or pick, hammer, pull. 3rd fret on the low E string, and then we have 3, 4, 5. Now the reason I do that, I shift back up instead of doing my 3rd finger, is I'm getting ready for the next part, the fast palm muting on the 5th fret. All right, so that section one more time. Okay, now we get to the tremolo picking part. So this part, you can pick two different ways. I'm going to show you the way that the composer of Kill 'Em All, Metallica's Kill 'Em All, Dave Mustaine, actually plays this. And so basically he's going to do an upstroke on the chord on the first beat of the measure, and then this rapid down and up, but it has to be in triplet 16th notes. So it's going to sound like this. So the rhythm is going to be, I kind of feel the beat where the snare drum hits. So if you're listening to the drums and you have the bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, snare, you know, obviously they're doing the rapid, you know, double bass, but where you hear that snare, that's where you're feeling the pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. All right, so let's just do the chords and the notes first, and then we can kind of put that together. But as you're learning the chords, the reason I put that part first in the lesson is I want you to make sure that the picking is right from the beginning. All right, so you have the up, and then we have our alternate picking, heavily palm muted. All right, if you want to learn how to count that, it's 1 endola, 2 endola, endola, 3 endola, endola, 4. Endola, 2 endola, 3 endola. Right? It's kind of weird. I would just try to feel the triplet. You could even go triplet, 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 all right, until you get the feel of it. Okay, that's a lot. So let's just slow it down and give it a try. So here we go. Now you notice I'm putting a little bit of an accent where that snare drum is. That's just, I'm just trying to find where the beat is. So we have, so you see that where that accent is? The heavy pick there, the heavy rest stroke pick. Snare, snare, snare. That's how I'm trying to like kind of gauge where I am in the measure. Okay, so that goes all the way through the solo, all the way through the end, and then finally we have this outro part, which is a kind of a beast of an outro, and it looks like this. So here we go with this little bit. Now I'm trying my best to bar this, but roll my finger back and forth so that I'm not making too much noise. So we're going to be on the A string 7th fret and hammer 7, 8, 10. Same thing on the next string. See, I'm kind of like barring that finger down. And then I have my upstroke on the next string, G 7th fret, and then a pull off from 10 to 8 on the D string. So let's just do that much. So we have, if you're getting a little string noise, that's all right. Then we're going to do another downstroke on and pull off from 10 to 8. Now this is the tricky part. We have an upstroke on the G 7th fret, G string, and then immediately a down starting over on the A. That's kind of a tricky string skip. All right, so we have, all right, tricky. And then the last time through, right, instead of doing that last note here, you're going to do this. Same idea, 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, then 7, 10, 8, pull off. Again, pull off, 10, 8. Pull off the 7 on the D string. All right, so that's the only difference at the very end, that last note. And then you're right here ready for this chord, 8 and 7. 8 on the A string, 7 on the D string. All right, then we have a drum fill, and then we have these chords. 5th and 7th fret, and then the 3rd and 5th fret. And then you're done. All right, so that last outro goes like this. All right, that part's pretty fast there at the end, so you know, do your best with that. So that's all of the rhythm guitar for this song. Like I said, we're going to do the solo and the intro lead in the next video. I'll do my best to get that up soon, but this is a fun one. Definitely crank this up and play along with it. And yeah, Dave Mustaine, amazing songwriter, amazing guitar player. Check out his first album, Kill 'Em All, and I'll see you next time.